evening. We will call the meeting of the Historic Preservation and Architectural Review Board of the Village of Cooperstown to order at 5 o'clock. Thanks everybody for being here. We're going to start with an application for 37 Averill Road. Woody, would you like to come up and have a seat, please?
I would, thank you. Thank you for getting me on the agenda first. I was last the last time I was here.
Yeah, well, for those who are last shall be first.
Exactly. Something.
I hope that wasn't in May.
It was a late one.
Yeah, that was a particularly late one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to describe
Tell
the
us,
project?
yes, tell us about the project.
Okay, so we have a 2-level home at Averill Road. The upper level, the main level, we occupy, and the lower level will be for a tenant. That's in progress. And so we wanted a garage for ourselves, and we wanted a 2-car garage. And then we looked at the site thinking about where can we put another garage to accommodate a tenant. So we'd love to attract a basset doctor, and when they need to get out, they need to get out. And the site is difficult, it's very sloped. And so we decided that rather than build 2 garages, we would just build one large one. So it's a 3-car garage. The 2 of us don't own 3 cars, but we're reserving 1 spot for the tenant. There's currently a large paved parking pad to the right of the house, and that's where we would place the garage. It won't be attached to the house, but it'll be about 5 feet from the house. And none of the pictures show exactly what it will look like. There will be 3 doors, 3 separate garage doors, and they will have windows in them. And they'll be the same height. There's one picture from the manufacturer that shows the middle door is higher. Yeah, that's not quite what we ordered. And they'll have windows in them, so it won't look quite so unbroken. It's engineered wood, metal roof. It's currently under review by the CBA because we're not set back as far as regulations would call for, just because of that ferocious slope behind the garage.
Mm-hmm. So you said the doors pictured are not the ones you will be using.
Correct.
Do you know what you plan to use?
Yeah, there'll be white doors, and they'll have I think it's 5 lights going across the top.
On the top section of the. And do you know the material of those doors?
Of the doors?
Yeah. Do you have a spec sheet?
I do, but I don't remember. It's in the packet.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I missed that.
I know that they're insulated doors, but I don't know that it says specifically the material of the doors. No.
So, and they're all going to be the 9x7, not the 10?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it's almost a square building. Had you thought about turning it 90 degrees so that instead of having the gable face the street, the lower roof section faces the street?
Thought about it, but you don't want your garage doors under that flat roof because you get stuff coming off it.
Oh, right. Okay.
It would be kind of nice because that's the orientation of the roof of the house.
Right.
But it just doesn't work.
Right.
There's currently only one neighbor, and and you can see that she's supportive of the project.
And does anybody have any additional questions for Hootie?
I do not, I just wanted to say that I don't see information about the door materials.
You know, I'm pretty sure they're metal doors.
Okay. And then you said it's an engineered wood siding, does it come pre-painted?
It does.
Okay.
And we haven't made the final decision on the color yet.
And just for future reference, even though it comes pre-painted, which means generally a lower maintenance, is it paintable if it's engineered wood?
Don't know.
Okay.
I hope to not live long enough to need to paint it. I think it's got a 30-year warranty. I don't.
So I think you said that it was gonna have an engineered wood siding, is that right?
Correct.
This spec sheet says vinyl siding.
Not correct. This spec sheet is, I'm sorry, they gave us the wrong specs. It is the engineered wood. And I think if you look at the invoice from them, I may have it correctly. It says shingle color.
Yeah, it seems like the choices are metal siding color. Oh, this is painted shed color, but it doesn't say what the material is that's getting painted.
It is that engineered wood. It has a brand name. Hang on, I think I have that on the write-up. Smart siding.
Mm-hmm. Smart
That's what
siding.
it is.
Any other questions for me?
Would gutters alleviate the problem with the orientation of the building made to match the,
Yes, but not great. You know, you still get bicycles.
because I'm pretty sure I've seen a bunch of places that have it on the non-gable side.
Yeah. That was not my call. But
You were told that it was problematic.
I was told it was problematic.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't think it makes that much difference visually.
The siding is made of what?
It's called smart siding. It's an engineered wood product.
Okay. Yeah. Any other, go ahead.
I was going to suggest that if we make a motion that it be dependent on submission of information regarding the actual siding materials.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and
Sure.
and
I can get
ideally the materials for the doors as well,
Sure.
so we know what the siding and door materials are, and it's in the file, that'd be good.
Sure.
Are there any other questions or concerns? Okay, we're good. If anybody would like to make a motion, feel free.
I'm happy to make a motion.
I move that HPARB provide certificate of appropriateness for the garage at 37 April Road with the stipulation that the materials be provided for the door and the siding. And I would base that on number 5, as well as 3A and B.
Thank you, Bernie.
Second.
Dave, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, Liz votes yes.
Burton, yes.
David, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll get that material list to you right away.
great. Get it
I'll
to
get in
Chris.
Just so we can coordinate exactly what we need, like the windows, the doors, just to correct any discrepancies.
Okay.
We'll do it together.
Thanks, Chris.
Sure.
Jason conflicted.
So you really makes the motion.
Okay,
In case
so
that-
Chris, it looks like we had a deletion from the agenda for the next item.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go on to item number 3 on the agenda, 27 Susquehanna Avenue. Emily? Hello. You're not Emily.
I am not. I'm Emily's mother, and I own the property at 27 Susquehanna. My daughter Emily Schoen, she resides there.
Nice to meet you. Would you like to tell us about your project?
We would like to put up a 6-foot privacy fence. Currently, when we sit on the back porch, we overlook the parking lot at St. Mary's Church and the dumpster. And it's very busy on the weekends, obviously. And so we would like to erect a 6-foot cedar fence. And it would actually match the privacy fences on either side of our house. Both our neighbors have the exact same fence that we're planning on connecting.
Great. And Chris, because it's 6 feet, there's the neighborhood acquiescence that they need has
Yes.
been submitted, correct?
We got it all the way around the property.
Okay,
There's one from the church, which I received today, which wasn't in your packet. but
I see that.
completes it,
Oh,
But I added to the packet.
yeah. And the other neighbors have
The
signed
other
on?
neighbors on both sides have also.
Yes. I've seen them in the back, thank you. The materials are gonna be exactly the same?
Yes, identical,
Great.
cedar, very plain.
Does anybody have any questions? And it's just along the back property line, correct?
It would actually be along the back and then on either side of the house.
Okay,
So it would connect with the neighbors on either side.
okay.
It would just look more uniform that way.
And the two smaller segments are identical to the along the back.
Any other questions? Would anybody like to make a motion?
I would move that HPARB provide a certificate of appropriateness for the project at 27 Susquehanna Avenue under criteria 2A and B and 3A, B, and C.
Okay, thank you, Pat.
Full house.
Full house? No, yeah, full house, exactly.
Dave went big. Sorry. Silly. Okay, any discussion? No? Okay, Liz votes yes.
David, yes.
Bernie, yes.
Aaron,
Very
yes.
good, very good.
Thank you. Awesome. We're all, okay, thank you.
I'm ready with the permit. Next slide.
Thank you very much, we appreciate your time.
Great.
Good night.
What is your name? I'm Cindy Levine.
Okay,
Lucinda,
Lucinda.
Lucinda, Levene. Thank you.
Have a good
Good to
night.
see you.
Okay, 72 Susquehanna. Come on up and have a seat.
This is a terrible agenda for dyslexia.
It was a terrible agenda for driving around, looking at, it's like 72, 77, 122, 12.
All compacted, just be totally.
Anyway, sorry, we're just, long hot day as everybody's had one. Can you state your names for Marcia, please, and then tell us about your project, please?
Hi, my name is Roy Kibona. I'm the owner of 72 Susquehanna Avenue. And I would like to install a fence, a 6-foot fence. And Mike Westis is contractor.
Hi, Mike.
Mike Eustace, I'm the contractor.
Okay, so tell us materials.
Pressure treated lumber, 4x4 posts, 5/4 by 6 pressure treated lumber for the panels.
And Chris, in terms of acquiescence and setbacks, everything's,
Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't get those to you, but over the weekend I got the full complement of emails from the neighbors. The last one arrived today, and they're
okay,
gleefully happy about this fence. They are.
okay,
Yeah.
that's great. That's wonderful. All right,
They even thank the village board for making,
Granted.
for keeping our village tasteful, so.
thanking the academy.
Okay, that's right.
Well, to thank the homeowners who are paying for that. That's who they should be thanking. Okay, does anybody have any questions about the fence as proposed? So it looks like it's an alternating either side, so there's no good side or bad side to the neighbor. It's,
Good neighbor fence.
yeah. All right, well, if there aren't any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, Kat?
The width of each section is how long?
10 foot.
You get extra credit. I said you get extra credit.
And one question, is the fence the entire length of the property or just,
No,
okay,
it's gonna be 100 feet long.
got it.
It's gonna go to the front edge of the garage. And it's gonna run along that property line, and it's gonna, so it'll begin 25 feet off the road, and it's gonna run to the front corner of the garage.
So almost as setback as the house, but not quite, it looks like from your drawing.
Yeah, great. I just wanted to make sure that the drawing reflected the plan. Because sometimes people submit drawings that are like, well, that's not really what I meant, so I'm just making sure.
Bear with us. Any other questions? Okay. Anybody would like to make a motion? Bernie, go ahead.
I move that HPARB provide certificate of appropriateness for the project at 72 Susquehanna Avenue, being the fence, and based on 2C and 3B and D.
Awesome.
I'll second.
Thank you, Aaron. Any discussion?
Second?
Bernie Butis.
Okay. Liz, let's start.
Yes.
Aaron, yes.
We're waiting for your vote.
Yeah.
Good, thanks. Okay, this will get you a permit. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Nice to see you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
David Rossi's out in the hall.
Oh, good, okay. So David Rossi's in the hall, I guess. David, would you like to join us?
Michael, you guys take it.
Excuse for the yelling, I grew up with,
Thomas, I think they beat up.
oh, Thomas.
Someone told him to wait.
Yeah, Thomas, would you like to join
Here
us?
it comes. Please.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, come on in.
Good to see you.
Have a seat.
I brought a visual.
Wonderful.
Excellent, popcorn.
We like show and tell.
I'm Thomas Rossi. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good.
Good, wonderful. Tell us about your project.
Well, we purchased 77 Chestnut Street. It'll be 5 years in August. And it's been a labor of love. We really didn't know how much work we would have to put into this undertaking, but it turned out to be pretty significant. So we've been taking our time and doing a little at a time. And we're in a position now where we can actually stay in the house and look forward to it. But up to this point, we've been coming like on weekends and doing work in the house, and little by little. We had GNS Construction, Mr. Smith, Stephen Smith, and he did an amazing job of renovation in our house. It was in dire need of repair. And we had just about everything that you can imagine done to that kitchen, and we restored all the hardwood floors to their original grandeur, and we had a new bathroom put in downstairs, which was a laundry room at one time for the Sheldons. You're familiar with the Sheldons, right? We had the nanny's room upstairs totally redone. The house lacked insulation severely. So we had ceilings taken down, you could see the rafters, and we had insulation, new walls, you name it. And it took a while. Plus, we were in the midst of COVID, and we lost about 1.5 years of construction. And not to mention, materials were very difficult to obtain and triple the cost in those days. So we had to do it little by little. And we're at a point now where the last few things that we have to do are some window restorations. We talked to Mr. Richardson. That's not in this proposal, but we talked to Mr. Richardson, and we're going to have some windows restored. Stephen Smith suggested strongly that we get the roof done. Now currently, I really don't know how old the roof is. It must be pretty old, but it's a steel roof. And when I first purchased the house, I had someone come and like paint it. And it didn't last at all. It didn't last very long. And it's beginning to rust, and Mr. Smith said, you know, it's a good time, you should think about the roof. So that's why we're here. We looked into a few options, one of which was to replace the original with another steel, but it was just exorbitant in cost. Double the amount of what we would pay for an asphalt roof. So that's the difference, you know, that's what we're changing, that's different in the on the house exterior. Plus we're gonna get some gutters because they're needed very badly. A lot of water coming down into the cellar from lack of gutters.
Yeah, the drainage, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any pictures of the existing
I
roof?
do, because I took the time.
Too.
I don't have copies, though. I have one Oh, you have them?
Yeah, I took some pictures this morning.
Oh, okay. I went and saw images of Ellen Pope. And she helped me with some applications, so the applications have color pictures.
So you applied for the historic
I'm gonna apply, yeah.
tax credit?
Yeah, and one of the things that I was very disheartened about, it's probably my own fault, is that I didn't really realize that I could have gotten some other tax benefits since the beginning. Mr. Smith never made it.
If all of our contractors know about the tax credit, since it's usually the homeowner's responsibility. So I wouldn't blame him, I'm sorry.
Blame him, but he
Yeah.
just didn't.
I'm not sure if they're, we have a hard enough, and Steve is not one of our culprits here, but we have a hard enough time educating homeowners to the historic preservation law, or, excuse me, our local contractors to the historic preservation law.
Sure.
And as much as we try to remind them about the historic preservation tax credit and bring it to the attention of owners, we have to concentrate on making sure our contractors understand the law and the
Yeah,
historic district.
Yeah, of
But
course.
anyhow, I'm sorry, I hope you're able to use it for future work, it
Yeah,
isn't.
and Clapper, the roofing company, was not aware of it. So I had a little discussion with Rob.
About
And
getting
I said, you
people,
know, this is something you might want to just discuss with your potential clients. It's a marketing tool. It might help you get the account quicker if they know that they can get a tax benefit. But it was our fault. We had the information, we probably just misinterpreted, you know, what we had in front of us.
it's, you had a lot going on.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
And when you have a big project like that, it's hard to capture all those details.
That's a good point, hopefully things will evolve. It's a good point you make, and hopefully things will evolve in the future,
Sure.
more people will get, people in the construction business will advise their clients.
And Ellen Pope was amazing. She was wonderful.
What's the
She
picture?
was so helpful.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Pat.
Did Ms. Pope, seem to feel that the changing of the roof type was appropriate?
She did. She didn't have any real qualms with it because the neighborhood, all our neighbors have asphalt roofs. And just down the street, Clapper did a roof on Delaware not too long ago, just finished that job. And I did some research on the company and their, you know, AAA, Better Business Bureau, very efficient, communicate effectively with me. You know, I feel comfortable with them. But no, she didn't really make a big issue. She said, well, obviously you have to go before the board because it's different. But, you know, I just think it's a hardship to pay $42,000.
Do we have a building date on that?
When the project will start,
No, when the house was built.
1883. 1883. And it's in remarkable shape for that age.
So the roof type that you have is the same metal roof type that we talked about for the carriage barn that's next to the elementary school. They have the same pressed, it's like a pressed metal that looks like shingles. So the appearance, although it is a different material, it's not a standing seam metal roof being replaced by asphalt. It's a stamped shingle appearing roof being replaced by asphalt.
Does anybody know when this may not even apply, but when the original steel shingles were made?
That might have been an original roof.
That's a good question. I'm not even aware of that.
Might have been original, or,
In 1884
I don't know. Would it have been wood then?
or 3?
I was just gonna ask what the pitch of the roof was.
I do know that they're rusting and they're causing a little damage at the peaks, you know.
So
And
the.
it's causing some
different-
woodwork to
There's
go
a flat, there's a.
bad because of the water. It's not like seamless with regard to keeping the water out. Although we haven't had any major problems in the attic. Personally, I don't even go up in the attic. It's one of those pull-down kind. And it just has rafters.
The other question that, oh, I'm sorry.
Let me show you my pictures. You wanted to see pictures.
So what were you saying?
The other question that I had was, are there replacement shingles for that particular kind of roof? If they're not, if nobody makes any,
They do have a replacement estimate in here,
Mm-hmm.
which is about 10 times the cost of the estimate for the asphalt roof.
So yes,
Double or-
but it's cost prohibitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
so they are available.
They're yes, but they don't look the same,
They're a little different now, a little more modern.
right? It would be as obviously different to, well, obvious, I don't know. It's still not the same roof.
Okay.
It would stand as sharp a contrast between going asphalt as to go with the new metal.
Yeah, it's not like the metal that is up there now. It's like a compound that resembles, metal. And although I was told it lasts 70 years, okay, but the asphalt one lasts about 30 years.
Right, so I would say that the roof is certainly 70 years old. So the idea that it's beyond its useful life is, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I've been fortunate up to this point, and that's why Stephen Smith said, don't wait much longer. He says, so we put some other projects on hold, and got some money available to be able to pay for the 22,000 or whatever it is. Yeah, my whole cost would be the roof 21,411, the barn approximately 5,000, shutters 1,680. Not shutters, gutters. Gutters 1,680, and the rubber roofing ceiling is included in the cost. It comes out to about $28,122, with half due at the beginning.
So, and just FYI, the garage already has asphalt.
Yes, and our neighbors have asphalt. Even the former mayor's house next door has asphalt.
And just to be clear, when you were advised to do something about your roof, was it that the existing roof is not able to be remedied, or was it that you should have some work done on it in terms of
Yeah.
getting someone to make the paint stick this time, or whatever the material is, or work on the ridge, because obviously.
Yeah, we tried, and we
Okay.
used the metal paint, and it just didn't stick, and, it lasted about 3 years. I could be wrong, but I'd have to do that every 3 years.
Just past the warranty,
Pardon me?
just past the warranty.
Yes. And I don't recall what I paid to have it painted, but it wasn't cheap.
Have you submitted these applications?
I did.
Okay, one thing you may consider doing, just not to add confusion, but before I forget to mention it, you can request that they be amended. You can add additional projects.
Yes, yes.
So
Ellen
you said
told
you
me
were
that.
putting other things aside.
Yes,
If you have things, even interior projects, add them to your application.
and then they could
Because
be amended.
it's only a small amount has to be outside, so you'll
Yeah,
cover,
so-
you'll get a lot of traction with your roof costs. other projects.
Well, especially in interior projects, because as Liz said, it's actually, I think it's 5%.
Yeah.
It has to be outside, and you've got way over 5%, so you can, and I think there's a ceiling, but you certainly have room for
You've got
more
$400,000 to,
interior projects, and not everything has to be done within the first year, it carries forward.
We are kicking ourselves because, you know, we had new walls and new ceilings, everything was wallpaper, including ceilings. There's like 4 layers of wallpaper, and that's so difficult.
that's about standard in this
So
area.
labor intensive to get, just to get it off.
Oh, yes.
So I had somebody come in and do it, and what they did was they put like a fiberglass gauze over the walls and ceilings, and then they skim coated over that, and that'll prevent any semblance of a crack ever, I think. I hope. So, yeah, we had all that done, the whole downstairs and upstairs, yeah. So we could have cleaned that.
Yeah, and I applaud you for all the work you've put into the house. It's a beautiful house. My favorite part of that house is the basement, actually.
The basement?
Yes, I just
Oh
think
my
it's a
God,
fabulous
mine too,
basement.
mine too, and you know, we put a new furnace, it's propane, and we had to dig a trench from the house to the, out by the barn, and we got the 3 canisters there, out of the way, not, you know, taking away from the beauty of the house. So we have a propane furnace, and we also got central air.
That's great.
So it's amazing. And we
Appreciate it on a
have
daily
2
basis.
electrical services because the house is so big. We had to have 2 electrical services, boxes. You've been down in that basement?
Yes, when the house was vacant.
Okay.
And
We had to get that those oil tanks out of there. That was like crazy.
but it was, for its time, it was a spectacular basement. Anyway, we won't digress. I know it's
Can I ask you a question?
go ahead.
This is a question for myself, primarily. If one replaces an historic material with a non-historic material, does that apply in the
I
tax?
can't speak to how the SHPO is gonna respond to that. I think they may look at the minutes of our meeting, they may consider our discussion. If we chose to deny a certificate of appropriateness, they would certainly question the viability of it. But I cannot speak to whether the argument that it's cost prohibitive will stand up. The argument that the profiles are not the same, so the appearance of a new stamped metal roof would not look like the historic one might stand up. But I can't speak to how exacting they'll be about it.
And the barn doesn't have a metal roof. It's asphalt.
I have a bit of a soliloquy as well, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I have nothing, you seem like a fine gentleman, and I'm not doubting any of the information that you gave me, but I'm just wondering how the board feels about whether there should be some sort of a firmer statement or a more
Precedent?
well, no, I'm just thinking in terms of a person comes in and says, the roof's shot, I can't get the paint stick to it. Is there some way to know whether maybe the person who painted it didn't do such a great job, or whether it is salvageable? Like, is there some method by which we can verify that the person is presenting it accurately, and that the information or that the information presented to the person that's requesting it was accurate?
It's such a judgment call, Bernie, and I think that, you know, although clearly probably not original materials, a roof like that was probably pre-World War II. And those materials are just not gonna last for this length of time and be repairable. And that would be, if we're looking at, it's a situation by situation, there's no like black and white. That would be hard to make a broad statement about that.
The red flag I have is that, and it's not that painting the roof is the problem, the roof might be shot, but the idea that you can't get paint to stick to a metal roof, I find that dubious, just the fact that we have so many different options in terms of rust reformers and rusty metal primers and all that. It just kind of baffles me that that whoever painted it, if that was a solution to the problem or the way to observe it, they couldn't get it to stick for more than 3 years. I could just find that.
I hear what you're saying, but
astounding.
part of it could be the amount of wear. So you have so much compromise where it is rust.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's not gonna stick when there's that much compromised, unless you take Bondo to it and everything else, or an epoxy or something and fill
You
that.
can imagine the heat that roof generates, like in the sun, there are no trees sheltering that roof. And I think that also contributes to the decay and the chipping or the peeling or whatever
The heat will
it
make
is.
the metal expand, the cold will make it contract, and that's an enemy
It
of
has
paint.
joins and seams, and there's stuff happening in the iron that comes out the roof. I also just wanna mention that the roof preserves the rest of the building. And
Yeah,
it's just really important to have a good building envelope, or any of the rest of your work at preservation is not going to be useful. There is, there's, yeah.
Bernie, I can tell you that Hyde Hall has a metal roof that was put on in 1970. It's the third metal roof on the house. It's copper coated with lead. It requires to be painted every 3 to 5 years. So what Mr. Rossi is saying is he tried to paint and it only lasted 3 years. Well, that's kind of what it seems you expect on a metal roof. Probably not exactly the same metal, but apparently they just don't hold up.
I think the copper, a little bit more durability.
It's lead coated copper.
Okay,
It's more, so it doesn't rust.
right, and I get what you're saying, Bernie, and Gibbs' point kind of says what you said. However, looking at the images Aaron took this morning, there is so much compromise there, and having tried to maintain metal roofs on 19 historic buildings at a historic site, when that rust overtakes and the kind of integrity of large sections of a roof, it prohibits. So if the Sheldons, and having lived across from that house for a while, if the Sheldons weren't painting that roof regularly, it's kind of hard to reestablish that integrity. If somebody like Hyde Hall is managing that on a good maintenance schedule, but if the homeowner isn't doing that, then it's hard to go back.
It's expensive.
I totally agree. I would say that Hyde Hall's got an issue, because I would say that the manufacturer of that is it doesn't have a 3-year guarantee on their expensive metal roof. I've got 60-70-year-old copper roofs, and they're still going strong, so I don't know what the issue is, but I don't think that's necessarily the standard of.
The issue at Hyde Hall is it's not a straight run of metal, they're shingles. They're a specific type of shingle, which I guess is sort of what Mr. Rossi's house has. And as was pointed out, with the changes in temperature, they expand and contract, so the cracks open up between all the shingles. And that's why the Hyde Hall roof has to be painted.
But seeing as that, we've got pre-war pre-war metal, I don't know that we can necessarily write off metal roofs as having a 3-year life expectancy either, so. And I do see the pictures.
The paint layer has a the paint is 3 to 5 years,
Oh, I see,
not the roof.
okay.
So you're painting rust, it's gonna keep rusting underneath it.
Yeah, I mean, I would beg to differ with the different options that you have to reform the rust, but, I mean, it's an oxide now, but I'm not disputing whether the roof needs to be replaced or not, I'm just saying that it's dubious that the idea that the paint would not stick for more than 3 years, or that you can't reform the metal.
When I originally had someone paint, they not only painted, but they filled in cracks and to the best of their ability. There were cracks and gaps that were prominent, and I guess he did the best he could. And the potential damage that we're seeing is at the eaves. Because we've had a couple of contractors look, and so this is beginning here. This is where you're having, just getting into the wood. Rot the wood if you continue to just put a coat of paint over.
Yeah, as I was saying, just, it's not that I doubt you or I doubt this case, it's just that when it comes time to change the material historical, it would be nice to have more than, it would just be nice to have more than just taking the word, and nothing against you, but just taking the word of the homeowner that such and such occurred, but I'm totally down with what the rest of the group thinks and
And it's a good point, and that's why we don't have if this then rules, like we talk about each one, and really, it's not apples to apples, it's always in a vacuum, and that's why, even when you say our neighbors all have asphalt, we're looking at your house in a vacuum in that respect, because it's got material that you wanna try to preserve, so we can't say, well, the neighbors have it, you know, black and white, you should keep it or not, but we weigh other things. So your attempts to maintain it, but in somebody else's case, we might really question their attempts to maintain it if it looked like the integrity was stronger.
And
I'm not sure if the barn had a metal roof at one time, but now it has asphalt.
Probably did have a metal roof at one time,
So
yes.
somehow that
Might have even had
that must have got through about 20, 30 years ago,
might have even had a wood roof at one time too,
maybe.
so, yeah.
I have the sample of the asphalt if you want to see it.
And are you going with that color?
I'm going with, since the house is white and black, we thought we would go with this peppercorn. My wife is really in love with this peppercorn. So it's a darker.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so it's just,
And it has different colors in it, and you know, it's not just solid black.
Gib, do you need to see that? Pat, do you need to see that? No, okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Is somebody comfortable making a motion about this?
My cheat sheet.
I'll get mine
Because
out.
I took it
To
and I
Minnesota?
had to take the bag to Minnesota. And
I'm happy to make a
Okay,
proposal.
thank you.
This is 77 Chestnut, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I propose that we move that HPARB provide certificate of appropriateness for the project at 77 Chestnut Street based on 2A, 3B, and is there one that talks about repairing or keeping the rest of the house in good shape?
maybe 5,
I think,
3E,
3,
the
okay.
importance of historic architectural other features to this property, so.
Yep, that sounds
Like I'm
perfect.
saying, the envelope, even
And 3,
good stuff inside.
great,
And not 5?
Well, I was thinking more in terms of safety, that having but no, not 5, thank you.
I'll second.
I'm not really fully aware of the numbers.
oh, they're parts of the law. So if you looked on the website and read the zoning law, when you get your permit or your letter, you'll be able to see what that means. But it's just how we justify the decision that was made to reflect the historic preservation law in the zoning law. So you have a second, any discussion? Okay, Liz votes yes.
David, yes.
Yes.
Aaron, yes.
Do we have a quorum?
With you voting, if you want to recuse yourself,
I'd like to abstain.
or you'd like to
You can
abstain?
abstain.
Yes, we do have a quorum, yes, so you may abstain. Thank you, Pat.
And Mr. Rossi, I hope that you didn't misunderstand my
No,
apprehensions or
I'm
anything
fine.
like that.
We get a little philosophical.
You need an alternate to
I'm
step
a
up.
college professor and we have meetings like this too, you know, and so I'm very familiar with the way, you know, and I'm comfortable with the way you've done business.
Some people aren't, some people are. Thank you for your patience. Chris will get you,
I'll be in touch with
Yeah.
a permit, to be sent out within 5 days, but you're good to go now, once they make,
however,
once they bang the gavel.
if you're waiting for the tax credit, you can't do work until that gets approved. If Ellen didn't explain that to you,
Can't start the work until it's approved?
right,
They have to come and inspect your house.
The application went in,
right, but
couple of weeks
until, and it usually takes about a month, if I remember correctly.
oh,
It
okay.
depends on how busy they are, but they try to turn it around within a month. But the work has to be approved before it begins, if you want to apply the tax credit.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
if Mr. Clapper's getting ready, or Clapper is getting ready to start tomorrow,
No,
okay, you may just want to do that dance.
However, pump the
maybe in the
brakes.
next 2 weeks from now.
See where you sent it in a few weeks ago and see where it's at.
I'll check with Ellen Pope too.
Just-
And in
just
case
so
you
know.
have somebody on the fence like myself, if you come across a way to convey the deteriorated areas of the roof, it may be handy if they have any questions about it.
Great,
But that's good advice, thank you so much.
you're welcome.
And if you ever want to see the basement, there's a little
Wow.
alcove area that I have my eyes on and putting some wine in there. So it looks
Your
perfect.
wine cellar,
for a
huh?
wine cellar.
Is there anybody here for the next one?
I don't know.
I have my fee.
Oh, talk to Chris.
Oh, well, no, I don't think that would be for you.
I was told that I bring
Yeah,
$50.
should we do a receipt and everything, do
Should we
you want
turn
to
the
process
camera on?
this?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure whether we're done with the next one and we have to do our minutes, things like that, then we can. So,
No, I saw money changing hands.
I should we turn,
Receipt for that.
and the $50 fee is handed to the deputy clerk, who will write a receipt. We're not going out for drinks on it. Okay, Chris, is there somebody here for 22 Chestnut, or?
No, I mean, I've sent her some emails alerting her that the meeting was today, and
Okay,
so she's aware, but I expected her.
okay, so.
And congratulations on having made such good progress on beautiful place.
Thank you. You're all invited to the open house someday.
Yeah.
We're hoping to that. I wanna see this basement.
It's the one side.
Basement is cool. But you should see the nanny's room, that's my favorite. It's got a little staircase to the kitchen.
That's really,
That's where I'm gonna put a desk and
Sounds perfect.
a little office, yeah, have a midnight snack.
that's exciting.
So you're all set then?
Yeah, you're
You
good.
can do it.
Thank
you
you.
so much, I appreciate all your hard work and your professionalism. We appreciate it, we love Cooperstown.
Well, welcome.
When we came here 45 years ago, I was interviewing for my position at Utica College. And I finished my 45th year just that spring. We stopped in Cooperstown on the way from South Jersey. That's where we were originally from. And we just fell in love with Cooperstown. And I'm such a big baseball nut. And I look forward to everything that goes on here.
Well, that's great.
And the Hall of Fame is my mecca. You know, I'll tell you one quick story, I know you're busy, but about 17 years ago, I had open heart surgery. And in preparation, there was so much anxiety. So I spent a whole day in the Hall of Fame, and it calmed me down. And then I went into surgery the next day.
Oh, that's neat.
So, yeah,
That is a great story.
yeah.
Mecca will rejuvenate.
Pardon me?
Mecca will rejuvenate.
Our friends at the Hall of
We're
Fame.
bringing, my grandson is 10 years old and he's coming next week. And we're gonna go to the induction and Hall of Fame. And there's a scavenger hunt that he's gonna love doing. He's 10 years old. So he's into baseball, which is great. Not my team, but hey, it's baseball.
That's right. You can't win them all.
Thank you so much.
You're
I appreciate
welcome,
it.
and welcome.
Nice meeting you all. I appreciate all your time.
I was gonna mention one other thing. If it's just a restoration of your windows, you do not need to come if you're not changing the material or anything. If you're restoring.
Like glass, just replacing glass.
Yes, if you're.
What about paint? Like, what if I wanted to paint my house white, the same color that
You
it
don't
is?
need to come for anything reversible like paint or
Or temporary.
or temporary, yeah. So
Okay, so
the
paint.
gutters technically are not.
Shutters?
The shutters, we would, if you were going to change the shutters
No.
or remove them, we
No.
would wanna talk to you.
No,
But if you're going to restore
just
them,
paint them.
that's fine. You don't have to come for things like that. So basic maintenance, restoration or rehabilitation with materials replaced in kind is
Okay.
not something you have to come
So
for,
that's, I wouldn't have to come for approval from you people.
right?
But I could probably qualify for the tax
You
thing.
should add that to
It does have to
your,
get approved.
yeah.
Through the tax.
I said, can I do this retroactive? No.
But you can amend your application, so make sure you add those things, so.
Yeah, I will. Okay, thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Good night, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
So I don't know if folks have taken a look at these stairs and they have any questions we'd like to convey to the applicant? Or if folks are feeling that there's enough information to make a decision. I'm not clear on a railing.
I was surprised that there were not stairs.
I
there
honestly
anyway.
thought there had
I
been,
thought there were stairs.
and I wonder if stairs got removed, because I honestly thought there had been too.
I mean, it's certainly set up like there would be stairs there.
Can't hurt to get more information.
I think we do need to know about a railing, and then does this need other kinds of approvals?
No, it's not encroaching on setback. But I've done, her paper with her description is very confusing. I don't know if you guys had a chance to try and
Yeah,
work
It
through it,
is.
but a lot of it doesn't pertain to us, like the rise and run. It's more for But I sent her some questions too, which about, what is the distance from inner post to end of landing of, So I asked her, we need dimensions of the staircase, like, how long is this staircase? And I found some of these measurements confusing, especially the last one. I don't know what this is referring to, so I was hoping she would be here to clarify those things. But
I agree that it would be helpful to have a little explanation and some more clarity.
And I did advise her too, we'd need to know about a railing, of course, as you mentioned. We can't approve a railing-less stairwell.
So it says treated lumber and balusters. We'll need to know what the balusters they're proposing are also.
I would imagine that they would match
One would
the
assume.
railing on the porch.
Yeah.
How do you get into the house?
Is there a height
There's
change?
a door farther back on the same side, Gib.
There's a hair.
So you can kind of
It's
see
behind the
it.
tree.
It's, see where the tree is halfway
Yeah,
back?
got it.
There's a little landing and a set of steps. You scale the porch.
There's a trampoline that they put down. Jump.
In the truck.
So would we then, would we table this
Yes.
until the next meeting?
Yep.
I'm curious about the landing at the bottom before going to the ground. I'm just curious as to, well, if steps just don't go to the ground, and what that height is from the ground to the bottom landing there.
Oh, in the picture? In the picture of the stairs there?
Yeah, they're gonna have a landing like that?
That was, I was just asking, originally that picture would come, and I said, if you don't have a drawing, at least submit a picture of stairs that are like the ones to help us understand. So that's what this picture is. She found a picture that looks as close to what she's talking about, but it lacks railing details, and I was unsure if the foundation supports that we see in that photo are indeed the exact ones she's using. There's a few questions that.
Yeah, we need
How will it be anchored?
a better drawing. If you look, Bernie, and get out your magnifying glass at this page,
Okay.
there are two perspectives of what seems like stairs from the porch and then a landing and more stairs. But because the image is so small, it is really hard to tell exactly what's gonna happen there. And I think Chris's questions about measurement, are good, and then what the sub-support system is also important.
Yeah, I think this is another situation where the application asks for a measured drawing, and they've given us drawings and separate measurements, and that doesn't constitute a measured drawing. Like, the measurements need to be on the drawing. So we know what part is being measured.
Agreed.
Can I ask a question? Not a schematic, an explanation.
Right.
In Maryland, where I come from, the code has changed on railings, from a 30-inch height railing to a 36-inch height railing. And personally, I think the new code changes the proportion of the space above and below to an unpleasant degree. What is our position in terms of?
I think we have to go with the county code, which is 36, correct?
Yes.
What is
So,
it, what
I
is it,
believe it's 36, is what New York State.
36?
I think,
Let's see, I mean, this is, I don't know, that's something that's where the county has the authority to regulate that, but
Is there?
I'm looking at a resource that I'm not sure is correct, because you can't really go to the county website and see the code. It's a tricky thing, you have to, they inherited from New York State, so I wouldn't want to speak unless I was absolutely sure, but I believe it's 36.
And I think we
Is
had,
there a repair workaround?
but this is new, if it were repair,
Right.
but this is new.
I mean,
we're not
if the person-
repairing.
If the person knows in advance that there's a difference between a repair and a new, then they might make a choice based on that knowledge.
Right,
Do we-
yes.
Do we have any responsibility in it?
To make sure they know that they should ideally, if they're repairing and replacing.
It's tricky,
Yeah. I mean, I think that if there is the option to maintain a height of an existing railing, it should be encouraged aesthetically, right? And if we have that grandfathered into the law because it's repair and replacement in kind, we can ask an applicant to do that, especially if it makes a difference aesthetically. In this situation, because nothing existed, we have to go with the code.
Okay.
Anybody have an issue with the utility box being kind of right there?
I think it's a question that we have to ask the applicant about, definitely.
Well, and I think that's also a kind of a code question and not really an aesthetic question.
Yeah. Is
Do
it,
you have to avoid the utility box when you're going down the stairs? I feel like that's part of,
I'd bust that in right.
right, it's just not within the purview of this board, you know?
right,
If you wanna accidentally electrocute yourself on the way down the stairs, we can't
welcome.
regulate that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's another reason that an applicant really has to come and talk through all these details. And, an image, not that we can't go and look at it, but from not the angled side of the house, like the street sidewalk side, Chris, but a straight on image of that side of the building would be helpful, because you can see the utility box. Where does it measure? How does it measure? How does it fit into that? And are there code issues around that too that I'm not even on top of?
Can you investigate that?
Yes, and
Okay.
I will refer her to the county. I believe it's 36 inches for railing, but I would rather her hear it from those who know. So I will steer her there anyway.
I meant about the utility
I'm
box.
saying in the course of that, I'll say
Oh,
also,
okay.
check with them on.
Yeah,
the
double
utility
check
box,
on
too.
codes. Yeah, thank you.
Because I don't know at all if that box would present a problem. Good question.
Oh, minute.
Yes, so we actually are not ready to review the minutes of the June meeting because I have not had an opportunity to review them, and that's my fault, I didn't get to them. But we will revert back to the April meeting when I think we have everybody here, so we have the right board members to vote who are at the April meeting. Marcia, do you have those minutes in front of you so we can remind everybody? There you go.
There's not a copy for everyone.
No, I just wanted to check who was there. So these are the folks who are able to vote. Myself, Dave, Pat, Bernie, Aaron, and then, so those are the five, five HPARB members. Pardon me?
I'm an alternate.
Yes, but the senior alternate.
What?
The longest tenured alternate, not these, excuse me. If anybody else wants to look at these, I'm just not gonna get myself in trouble anymore.
I've always been an
So
alternate.
those would be the five people who should ideally vote in this process.
Take a look at that.
Sure. And when folks are ready, just give everybody the heads up. Is it coming back to everybody? It was a very long meeting.
Oh, geez, yeah.
The pain.
I think that was Gibbs' initiation, his baptism by fire, his hazing.
Came back.
That was when we got the commendation from the mayor, right?
Right. I think the governor said something too. Hope the minutes are not causing any PTSD.
I do have a question, actually. Did we address agenda item 741 Lake Street in that meeting? I don't think we did, because I walked past the house, they had a for application of offense. It's on the agenda. It was on the agenda,
But it's not in the minutes.
and it's not in the minutes, and I don't know that we addressed, we did an 8 Lake. I walked past the house the other day and I thought, I don't remember that. We did not.
Was
So,
that addressed at the May meeting? I don't,
It was on the agenda for the May meeting. Right, it's in the regular agenda.
but this is the
item.
April minutes, correct?
I thought we were looking at, what are we looking at?
Sorry.
I thought we were looking at
April. We're looking at April,
Oh, we are?
yeah,
She was signed up for
Okay.
that and then she canceled.
sorry.
So,
Is that Serena Martin for the
Yeah.
fence? She canceled the first time she was on the schedule.
okay, got it, thank you.
Right.
So this
We
is
truly need a
April.
scorecard for this, and like, she's gonna keep the stats. Do you want to, if you want the paper?
Oh, yeah, can I just have the paper?
You may, thank you.
Boy, that was a meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, I know I looked at these already, so I don't need to review them anymore.
Yeah, because it'll make you shake.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 9 meeting.
A second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Liz votes yes.
David, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Or yes.
Pat abstains because Marcia was so generous in her description that I feel embarrassed.
Okay,
Any update on the,
What?
any update on that property and its,
I'm sorry, what?
any update
Should we turn
on
off?
38 Walnut? and-
Oh,
we're gonna motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'd like to move to adjourn the meeting.
Who's gonna second? Thank you, Bernie
I can
second.
always say it's a hard road to hoe,
Okay.
and it could fall through at any time.